Good afternoon. This is Father Philemon Petitsos with the Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Cathedral here in Richmond, Virginia, with another episode of Ancient Christianity Speaks to Today's World. Readings from the Orthodox Christian Study Bible by Thomas Nelson Publishing. And today's article is on the topic of the 70. Let us begin in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. In the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, verses 1 through 17, the Lord appoints 70 men to go out as missionaries, as apostles. Though not so prominent as the 12, the 70 carried out their missions with fervor and enthusiasm. The tradition of the Church confirms that the 70 remained true to the Lord and their calling, fulfilling a vital role in the spread of the gospel. These were not random choices or accidental volunteers, but true disciples, true apostles, whose labors carried the message of their Lord throughout the Roman Empire and beyond. Though lists of the 70 vary somewhat, all these men are remembered in the calendar of the Church. See the chart called the 70 on page 1822. Of the Orthodox Study Bible for a complete list. One day, January the 4th, is set aside to remember all of them, and the record of their work is preserved in accounts handed down through the centuries from place to place, especially in those locations where they labored. To tell all the stories passed down in the Church concerning the 70 would fill a book of considerable size. But the stories of a few will convey the conviction and faith of this illustrious body. Barnabas, a Jew of the tribe of Levi, was born in Cyprus of wealthy parents. He is said to have studied under Gamaliel with Saul of Tarsus, who was to become Paul the Apostle. Originally named Joseph, he was called Barnabas, son of consolation, by the apostles. We discover this in the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 4, verse 36. Because he, Barnabas, had a rare gift of comforting people's hearts, he sought out Paul when everyone else was afraid of him, bringing him to the apostles. It was Barnabas whom the apostles first sent to Antioch with Paul. Their long association was broken only when Barnabas was determined to take his cousin Mark, whom Paul did not trust, just then on a missionary journey. The three were later reconciled. We read about this in the book of Colossians, chapter 4, verse 10. Many ancient accounts say Barnabas was the first to preach in Rome and in Milan. But he was martyred in Cyprus, then buried by Mark at the western gate of the city of Salamis. Also among the more prominent of the 70 was the apostle Titus, whom Paul called his brother. We read about this in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 18. And Paul also called Titus his son. We find this in the book of Titus, chapter 1, verse 4. Born in Crete, Titus was educated in Greek philosophy, but after reading the prophet Isaiah, he began to doubt the value of all he had been taught. Hearing the news of the coming of Jesus Christ, he joined some others from Crete who were going to Jerusalem to see for themselves. After hearing Jesus speak and seeing his works, the young Titus joined those who followed him. Baptized by the apostle Paul, he worked with and served the great apostle to the Gentiles, traveling with him until Paul sent him to Crete, making him bishop of that city. It is said that Titus was in Rome at the time of the beheading of St. Paul, and that he buried the body of his spiritual father before returning home. Back in Crete, he converted and baptized many people, governing the church on that island until he entered into rest in the age of 94 years old. Many less prominent among the 70 also labored for Christ unto death. For example, Aristarchus, whom Paul mentioned several times. See the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 19, verse 29, and Colossians chapter 4, verse 10, and the book of Philemon, verse 24. Calling him a fellow laborer, became the bishop of Apamea in Syria. Sosthenes, described in the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 18, verse 17, and 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 1, became bishop of Caesarea. And the Holy Apostle Tychicus, described in Acts 20, verse 4, and Ephesians 6, verse 21, Colossians chapter 4, verse 7, 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12, and Titus chapter 3, verse 12, all of these succeeded him in that city. Simeon, who is described in Matthew chapter 13, verse 55, in the Gospel of Mark chapter 6, verse 3, who was the son of Cleopas, who was the brother of Joseph, the betrothed of the Virgin Mary, succeeded James as bishop of Jerusalem. Aristobulus, described in the book of Romans chapter 16, verse 10, the brother of the apostle Barnabas, preached the gospel in Britain and died perfectly there and peacefully. The lives of these few are quite representative of the 70, who were instrumental in helping to plant the church throughout the world. Many became bishops, but the names of all are numbered in heaven in the book of life as faithful servants of the Lord, apostles, and foundations of the church. This concludes today's reading. Thank you so much for listening.